Welcome to Greenwood Cemetery, one of New Orleans' largest above-ground cemeteries. Now, when you come in here, you really get the sense that you're stepping back in time in a lot of ways. It's mainly due to our great neoclassical architecture that we have here in New Orleans that makes these above-ground tombs so famous. These family tombs right behind me, these are very Romanesque in their design. If you've ever seen pictures or maybe even been there yourself to the Appian Way, the old Roman road that runs across Italy, you'd see a bunch of above-ground tombs dotted in that landscape that pretty much look exactly like these. They're kind of like smaller versions of these. There's also Greek revival in many of these cemeteries. Even Egyptian revival makes an appearance. Sometimes you'll see obelisks and pyramids that are signs of that Egyptian revival architecture. The most famous pyramid tomb in New Orleans is probably the Omnia Ab Uno tomb, which will be the final resting place of a man that we all know and love and admire, the actor Nicolas Cage. So, historically, New Orleanians could fit about 85 people in a single above-ground family tomb. Now, at first, that seems impossible because there's usually only a couple of crypts in each family tomb, but it was made possible because of a burial practice that New Orleanians had, which was called laying the dead to rest. Now, what this involved was basically taking, a family tomb. Let's say that one of these is our family tomb and our grandma dies. So we'd put her in a simple wooden coffin, unembalmed. We'd shove her into the crypt, screw on a little doohickey, which is called the closure tablet, and we'd leave her there for a year and a day. Now, this and a day part was ceremonial. It was just considered disrespectful to disinter someone's remains on the actual anniversary of their funeral. The important part was that the body would undergo a New Orleans summer inside the crypt. Now, when the sun is out, the temperature noticeably increases when you come into cemeteries, even this time of year. It's January. In July and August, the temperature inside many of our above-ground cemeteries skyrockets. I mean, in the crypts themselves, temperatures can reach 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the temperature at which you bake a turkey. And the results are predictable. After a year and a day, all that's left of that body is basically a completely desiccated skeleton. In fact, much of the organic matter is literally burned up into ash if the bugs haven't gotten to it first. So in that case, what they would do is they would take out the coffin, unscrewing the closure tablet, chipping away at the brick and mortar, that kind of stuff. They take out the coffin. In the old days, they would burn the coffin at this point, but more recently, what they would just do is throw the casket away. It wasn't terribly unusual throughout much of the 20th century here in New Orleans to just see a casket sticking out of a dumpster somewhere. So then they would scoop up the remains that used to be grandma, and they would sweep it into the back of the crypt. Typically, it would then fall down a chute that would lead into a subterranean chamber called the caveau, which means little cave. There it would join the ashes of great-grandma and great-great-grandma going all the way back. And it was through this method, which was basically like a Catholic-friendly slow cooker cremation, that New Orleanians were able to save space, where there was scarcely enough room for the living in the early days of our history, much less the dead.